Once upon a time, in a grand castle surrounded by sparkling streams and lush green meadows, lived a princess named Isabella. She had everything a princess could ever want: beautiful dresses, sparkling jewels, and a room full of the finest toys. Her most prized possession, however, was a magnificent golden ball. It shone so brightly it looked like a tiny sun held in her hands. One sunny afternoon, Isabella was playing near the castle's deep old well. She tossed her golden ball high into the air, watching it glitter against the blue sky. Up it went higher and higher, and then, whoops! Instead of catching it, the ball slipped right through her fingers, bounced once on the stone edge of the well, and plop! It fell into the dark, cold water with a splash that echoed her gasp. Isabella peered into the well, but all she could see was her own tearful reflection. The ball was gone, lost in the murky depths. She sat down and began to cry, her sobs echoing in the quiet garden. "Oh, my beautiful golden ball," she wailed. "I'll never see it again." Suddenly, a little voice piped up from the well. "Why are you crying, princess?" "Your tears could fill this well all over again." Isabella looked around, startled. "Who's there?" she asked, wiping her eyes. A small green head with big, blinking eyes popped out of the water. It was a frog. "It is I," he croaked. "A humble frog, but I can help you." "What will you give me if I fetch your golden ball for you?" Isabella's face lit up. "Oh, anything," she exclaimed, not really thinking. "You can have my finest jewels, my silken dresses, even my sparkling crown." The frog shook his head slowly. "I have no need for jewels or crowns, princess, but I am lonely down here. If you will promise to love me and let me be your friend and playmate, if I can sit by you at your table, eat from your little golden plate, and sleep on a pillow next to your bed, then I will bring your ball back to you." "Oh, yes, of course," Isabella agreed quickly. I promise everything. Just please get my ball." She thought to herself, what a silly frog. As if a frog could ever be a real friend to a princess. "Once I have my ball back, I'll run straight back to the castle and forget all about him." Hearing her promise, the frog dove deep into the well. A few moments later, he resurfaced with the golden ball in his mouth and tossed it onto the grass at her feet. Isabella squealed with delight. She snatched up her precious ball, overjoyed to have it back. Without a second glance at the helpful frog, she turned and ran as fast as she could towards the castle, completely forgetting the promises she had just made. "Wait! Princess, wait!" The frog called after her. "Take me with you." "I can't run as fast as you can." But Isabella didn't listen. She disappeared through the heavy castle doors, leaving the little frog all alone by the well. The next evening, as the princess sat at the long royal dining table with her father, the king, and the entire court, they heard a strange sound. Flip-flop, flip-flop. Something was slowly coming up the grand marble staircase. Soon, there was a gentle tapping at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Then a little voice called out, "Princess Isabella, open the door for me." Isabella's face went pale. She ran to the door, peeked out, and saw the frog sitting there. She slammed the door shut and rushed back to her seat, her heart pounding. The king, a wise and observant man, saw how frightened she looked. "My dear," he said gently, "what has scared you so? Is there a giant at the door?" "Oh no, father," she whispered. "It's not a giant, it's just a dreadful frog." "A frog?" the king asked, raising an eyebrow. "And what could a frog possibly want with you?" So Isabella had to tell him everything about losing her golden ball in the well, and about the promise she had made to the frog in exchange for its return. Just as she finished her story, the tapping came again, louder this time. and the little voice called, "Princess, Princess, open the door. Have you forgotten your promise by the well so cool? Let me in, it's the rule." The king looked at his daughter with a stern but kind expression. "A promise is a promise, Isabella," he said firmly. "When you give your word, you must keep it. Go and let him in." With a heavy heart, Isabella slowly walked to the door and opened it. The frog hopped in and followed her back to the table. "Now," he croaked, "lift me up so I can sit beside you." Isabella hesitated, wrinkling her nose. But one look from her father reminded her of her duty. Reluctantly, she lifted the cold, damp frog and placed him on the chair next to her. But the frog wasn't satisfied. "I can't reach," he said. "Please put me on the table so I can eat from your golden plate," she did as he asked, trying not to show her disgust as the frog enjoyed a meal from her very own plate. The food didn't taste very good to her that night. When he had eaten his fill, the frog looked at her and said, "I am tired now. Please carry me to your room so I can sleep on your soft pillow." This was too much for Isabella. The thought of a cold, slimy frog in her beautiful, clean bed made her want to cry again. But the king's voice was firm. "He helped you when you were in trouble, my daughter. It is not right to scorn him now. You must keep your word." Sighing, Isabella carefully picked up the frog with 2 fingers, carried him upstairs to her room, and placed him on the silken pillow in the corner as far from her as possible. She quickly changed and climbed into her bed, turning her back to him. But as she lay there, she heard the frog's soft voice. "Princess," he said quietly, "I'm sorry to be such a bother. I was only lonely. A promise is about more than just words. It's about kindness." His words made Isabella pause. She thought about how she'd eagerly promised anything to get her toy back, but hadn't meant a single word. The frog had kept his side of the bargain, and all he had asked for in return was friendship. A wave of shame washed over her. He had been kind to her, and she had been terribly unkind in return. Feeling a change in her heart, Isabella sat up. She looked at the little frog on the pillow. He didn't seem so dreadful anymore. He just looked small and lonely. She gently reached out, not with 2 fingers, but with her whole hand, and gave the little frog a tiny, soft kiss on his forehead. In a flash of brilliant green and gold light, the frog was gone. Standing in his place was a handsome prince with kind eyes and a warm smile. Isabella gasped in astonishment. The prince bowed deeply. "Thank you, princess," he said, his voice warm and clear. "An evil witch turned me into a frog, and only a kind-hearted princess's promise and a kiss of true kindness could break the spell. You broke the spell not just by keeping your word, but by finally showing compassion in your heart." Isabella blushed, realizing the truth in his words. Her promise had started as a trick, but it ended with a lesson in kindness. From that day on, Princess Isabella was no longer spoiled. She learned that kindness and keeping your word were far more valuable than any golden ball. The prince and the princess became the best of friends, and eventually their friendship blossomed into love. They ruled the kingdom together for many years, always remembered for their fairness and their kindness to everyone, no matter how small. And they lived happily ever after. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.